Hello. It's been ages. Oh my gosh, it's so white, the lighting. Anyways, I'll get that fixed next time. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I've showed up live, and that's because I've been working on a super workshop called the Trigger Reset. Basically, it's in its name. It's 5 days where we can learn to understand our triggers, learn to respond differently, and then rise into the new foundations. So this is why I haven't been so active, because I have created this workshop. If anyone's interested to do the workshop, just comment workshop down below and I'll send you the deets. It's an amazing 30-minute workshop, 40 minutes including live question and answer, and also hot seats. So it's about understanding our triggers, learning how to respond differently, and rising into new foundations. So once again, if you want to know the deets about this workshop, just comment workshop down below. So what I want to touch on today is honesty. I want us to talk about honesty. So on Mondays, I facilitate an alpha group. Whoever doesn't know what alpha is, it's a group where people come to start asking questions about Christianity. It's an international, world-known educational system, and I help facilitate this group every Monday. So people coming in and asking questions about Christianity and faith. Who is God? What's the Bible? How do you pray? And all of these questions. But that's not the reason why I'm talking. That's not the reason why I'm here today. The reason why I'm here today is about honesty. So there is this 21-year-old guy, awesome dude, and he is at the moment struggling between the world and his values. He's struggling between going out and drinking with his mates and not wanting to go out and drink with his mates. And this 21-year-old guy absolutely shocked me yesterday. He said, Shan, the reason why I don't read the Bible is because I'm not ready to change my ways. The reason why I don't read the Bible is because I'm not ready to change my ways. 21-year-old he is. And wow, I really felt for him, because I remember when I was 21 and I really felt the struggle it is for us to be honest with ourselves. Because when we are being honest, we're gonna have to face ourselves, right, in the mirror. And we're gonna have to look at our own reflection and see what we don't like about that reflection and what we do like about that reflection, and what we can change about that reflection. Now, this statement brought me back to patterns and triggers. Why people don't change their patterns and their triggers. And the reason why people don't change their patterns and triggers is because they're not ready to change the patterns and the triggers. Psychologically, we have wired our brain and our nervous system to enjoy those triggers. Although they're bad triggers and although they're bad patterns, and most of the time we get bad repercussions and bad consequences, we become addicted to those outcomes. And the reason is because we don't know any better. And because we don't know any better, we start getting scared. And when we get scared, we always start questioning ourselves. What if it goes wrong? What if I lose myself? What if I lose my friends? What if I lose my family? There are a lot of what ifs come up when we are facing ourselves. So, the 4 main reasons, which is called the toxic cycle, the 4 main reasons for why most of us, the majority of us, from what I have understood in my 8 years of coaching with many different clients from many different walks of life and many different cultures and countries, professions and titles and mothers, fathers and whatever it is, the 4 most common things that I have noticed in these 8 years of coaching are these. I'm gonna show you this. So, excuse my drawing, but I thought it'd be good. I'm getting a whiteboard shortly, so it'll be easier to explain. Having said that, my drawing is not gonna change, but yeah. So these are the 4 patterns, the 4 reasons that most people go to when they don't want to change a pattern. And number 1 is time. Time. Just comment time down below if you have ever thought about this. When you are going to change something and I just don't have the time to do it. Or you're going to go learn a new skill and you just say, I don't have time to do it. Just comment time and just let's all start being honest with each other. Let's be as honest as this 21-year-old kid who showed up at Alpha and told me the reason why he does not want to read the Bible is because he does not want to change his life. Let's just be honest. So if this sounds like you, if you are one of the persons that have come across that time is one of the patterns that you walk into when you want to change something, just comment time. The thing is, the time is not going to change. The time is there. The only difference, listen to this, the only difference is instead of you're building yourself up, instead of you're creating new patterns, instead of going to change things within the same 24 hours that we have in the day, instead of building a new you, you're bleeding a new you. Now, what do I mean about bleeding a new you? It means that you're staying in the exact same position, stuck in pain, in the exact same patterns, in the exact same triggers. You're losing relationships, you're losing jobs, you're stressed, you have anxiety, you can't sleep at night, you become physically deformed. Because man, I remember when I held so much resentment in my life, my jaw used to tense like this. I used to get so tense. And the anger consumed me. It literally consumed me from the inside out. So instead of we're building, we're bleeding. So if time is one of your self-sabotaging pattern, one of your toxic cycles that you go to so that you give yourself an excuse not to change, just type time. Just be honest with yourself. This is not easy. This is not easy. First of all, I have gone through it, so I know, and I still obviously go through different things in my life. The more I put myself in different situations, obviously the new things that I'm going to. But 10 years ago, I took a lot of time and work to break my sabotaging patterns and to break the emotions that were triggering me and that I was losing lots of relationships with. So I've been there, I feel you, I understand you. But if we're never honest with ourselves about what we want to change, then we're just going to keep on bleeding in the time and never building into this time. Because time is going to be there. It's always going to be 24 hours. We're only growing older, we're not growing younger. Right? And time is waiting for no one. For no one. And I'm sure that you can sit over here and you can say, man, 2 years ago, if I did the thing I said I was going to do 2 years ago, then I would be in a different place. Then my life would be different. So that's a toxic pattern that we keep on reverting to, saying that we don't have time. Okay. Number 2. Hold on. I didn't get it good. Oh my gosh. Okay, here you go. We're scared. We're scared. We're so scared to face the truth. We're so scared to look at ourselves. We're scared. We're scared about the unknown. We're scared that if I change who I am today, am I going to lose that relationship that I'm in? Am I going to lose those friends? Am I going to lose myself? I mean, whether if you're a quiet, relaxed person that people come to you for calm and ease, but you still have this trigger in you, or are you going to lose your loud and bubbly self? Let's just use myself as an example. I was very scared that when I change from my patterns and my emotions that were bad triggers, I was so scared of losing who I was. And I was loud and talkative. I went to parties. I was like, I'm a very extroverted person. So I thought that if I changed the way I was, I would change who I am. If I changed the way I was, then I will change who I am. And if this is one of your toxic patterns that you result to, just come and scared. Just come and scared. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest that if we want to change tomorrow, if we want to change now, we need to be honest. We need to be honest with ourselves, because we cannot change what we don't know. And it's such a common fear to feel scared, because once again, we don't know otherwise. We don't know. We don't know what's on the other side of the road. If I had to, 10 years ago, if I had to sit with myself and I said, okay, Shanna, for you to break X, Y, and Z, pattern and emotion, you're going to have to go through all this, but you're going to get here. If I had to see the process that I had to go through to get to here, man, oh man, I'd be like, okay, thank you, not today. I'd be like, because it was a painful experience. I was scared to lose myself. I had to release so many emotions. I was scared. It was a scary situation. But scared doesn't get us anywhere. Scared, once again, just keeps us in the exact same place. And if you are worried about you changing who you are and losing yourself, you're not going to lose your identity. You're not going to lose your spice. You're not going to lose your flavor. You're not going to lose that honey and milk in your life. What you're going to lose is that toxic energy that when you sit down at home and you say, shit, excuse my language, did I react that way with my kids? Did I really freak out? Did I shout at them saying, go to your room? Like that? Instead of like, listen, honey, like, let's take a break. Just go to your room. I mean, I'm not a parent, I'm just giving an example. Or with your husband. Right? I remember when I was super angry and he'd tick me off. Well, at the time, not my husband, was my boyfriend at that time. And I used to get ticked off. I remember I used to just like, I used to slam things. I'm like, don't test me. Don't test me. But I didn't lose myself. I'm still outgoing. I'm still talkative. I'm still bubbly. I don't drink anymore at parties. I don't hit the table anymore. So we're scared to let go of who we are, but we're not letting go of who we are. We're just letting go of the things that no longer serve us. And those things are the toxic patterns and emotions. So if being scared is one of the patterns that you do go to, just type scared. Just type scared. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, like Mr. 21-year-old. Come on, I'm sure we can all be honest with ourselves. It's hard. Everything is hard. Everything is hard. But it doesn't mean because it's hard, then it's not worth it. Okay. The number 3 pattern, toxic pattern, cycle that I have noticed in my 8 years of coaching that people go to is oh my gosh, bless you guys, is disappear. Is that it will go away. It's not that, that's just in case. that's a stick man walking, thinking it's gonna disappear, just in case you don't understand the drawing. It's a stick man walking away, disappearing. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know what else to come up with. I mean, I have no idea. If you had any ideas what to do for disappear, just, yeah, give me some creative thinking. Oh my gosh, so horrible. Anyways, so it was disappear. No, Shan, it's not that bad. It's gonna go away. No, Shan, by time it will walk, sorry, because I'm looking at the picture, it will disappear. Patterns and triggers, they don't automatically disappear. They're not a magician. they don't, what was that guy who Houdini, that magician, you know, though I think it was like the Eiffel Tower that he made disappear. Correct me on this. Patterns and triggers do not disappear. They don't. They stay. Unless you focus on them. Unless you come up with a game plan and you're honest with yourself and you say, okay, this is the pattern, this is the trigger that I want to focus on, and I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to make it and I'm going to fix it. Automatically, they don't disappear. You can wish for it to disappear. You can pray for it to disappear. Now, I'm Christian and I am a God-fearing woman. I have loved God for the past 10 years. I didn't know God for a very long time, from the age of 24 lower. But when I did meet God, I prayed for so many things. I prayed for patience. He'd be like, oh yes, okay, here you go, patience. He gave me situations to be patient. I prayed to him so that I can show how much I love him and I'm sorry and I want to get rid of my patterns and emotions. He didn't just say, okay, let me just take them and magically make them disappear. No, he gave me situations. He gave me situations for me to get out of those patterns, those toxic patterns and those toxic emotions. Patterns and emotions will not automatically disappear. They will not automatically walk away. They will not automatically go. Now, if this does sound like you, let's be honest again. Just type in disappear. Magically disappear. Let's be funny with ourselves. Let's type magically disappear. If you think that your patterns and your emotions are magically gonna disappear, then type in magically disappear. It's okay, it will go away. It doesn't go away. They just get bigger, bigger, just like a balloon, okay, being blown up. And every time, I mean, everyone knows, right, when you blow up a balloon, it expands, and sometimes you can blow it so much, it just goes boom, it bursts. You don't want to put yourself in that position. So deflate the balloon. Deflate it and don't hope it's just gonna magically fly away, because it's not. It's going to be tied around your wrist. It's going to be dragging you everywhere. Patterns and emotions do not magically disappear. Type disappear if you think this is you. All right, the number 4 pattern, toxic pattern, which many people go to, is I think I even wrote the wrong word. Is that? Oh my gosh, excuse my drawing, my handwriting, horrible, horrible, horrible. So that's quiet. So we think, hello, I'm just talking about the 4 toxic patterns that many people go to when they want to break a trigger and emotion. I've gone through the 4 of them. I was on number 4. The 4 toxic patterns are time, feeling scared about losing themselves. They think this will magically disappear. Sorry, this is a man walking away. And the 4th toxic cycle is staying silent. That's the 4th toxic cycle. In my 8 years of coaching, as I have heard people say, that's the reason why they do not want to change the pattern or the trigger. And I hear so many people say, oh, other people have their own emotions to deal with. Other people have their own situations to deal with. I can deal this with on my own. I. A bit of a newsflash. We were never meant to do life alone. We were meant for community. And that's like a whole ecosystem, right? So I was never meant to do life alone. And when I don't want to do life alone, I don't want people to do life alone. So can you see that exchange of energy or community? I don't want to do it alone. They don't want to do it alone. I'm here for you. You're here for me, right? It's a beautiful ecosystem. So if you are one of those people that think that they have to stay silent and keep things in and bottle things up and hide their patterns and their triggers, just type silence. Silence. Because we are not meant to be silent. Because you know what happens when we're silent? Everything stays up here. And you know what happens when everything stays up here? We start chatting with ourselves. And the thing is, we're fighting the devil with the devil, basically, right? Because there's no one else to understand what we are trying to say. Because we are fighting with ourselves. So you were never, ever meant to break a pattern or break an emotion, a trigger, a bad trigger, alone. Now when I was breaking my patterns and my emotions, my patterns were drugs, alcohol and cigarettes, parties, name it. And my emotions were resentment, pride, lust came with the parties. When I had to break all of those, and that was almost a lifetime, right? I mean, I can remember I started partying at the age of 12 and I kept on partying till about the age of 24. So it was 12, 24, 6, 12, exactly. Wait. It was a very long time, basically. Sorry, I'm trying to do the maths. It was a very long time, all right, of a lot of built up patterns, a lot of built up emotions, and a lot of things that I did not want to change myself because I liked what I was doing. Just like my mate in Alpha, the one that I spoke about in the beginning, he doesn't want to read the Bible because he doesn't want to change his patterns at the moment because he's 21, he's going out, he's having fun, he's being a bloke. But he told me, Shan, because I facilitate Alpha, he told me, Shan, the reason why I don't want to read the Bible is because I don't want to change my values yet. I don't want to change who I am. I wasn't ready to change who I was at the age of 24. And I went through all of these cycles. I went through, I don't have time. I'm building my career. At the time I was a sales manager for a telecommunication company and I was closing deals in Malta. I was closing deals with Hugo, Radisson. Like I was in a really good place. I said, I don't have time to do it. I was scared. I was so scared that I would lose who I was. Loud and bubbly and talkative and everything in between. I thought that the patterns and the emotions will magically disappear. And then I said, I'm too embarrassed. I'm too embarrassed to say that I had anger and resentment. And I was proud and I was lustful. And I thought, oh, who can help me? Who has the time to help me? Like, who am I? Why would you even want to help me? So I went through all of those 4. And a lot of us go through them. So to conclude, I want to give you the solutions to these 4 toxic, these four toxic cycles that we go to when we're trying to break a pattern and an emotion. Number 1, just remember, time. Instead of building, you're bleeding the time. And time is not waiting, not for me and not for you. Sit with yourself and see what you want to change. You're scared. As I mentioned before, you're not changing who you are. You're just getting out those toxins out of your body. You're just changing that toxic part of yourself. And yes, it's okay to say toxic. Everybody, when I talk about the word toxic, they was, I'm not toxic, I don't like that word. Why don't you like that word? Because it triggers something in your body. You have to say, oh, I was a toxic person. You're not 100% toxic. Maybe you were 20% toxic. And now you remove the 20% out of your life and you'd be 100% non-toxic. You'd be the antidote to yourself. So tell yourself that you're not going to change yourself. You're just going to change the part of you that no longer serves you. Things don't magically disappear. There's no magician in ourselves. They don't just go, whoop, the pattern's gone, the emotion's gone. So, yeah. And silence. We are not made to be silent. We are made for community, and we're meant to, and there are a lot of help nowadays. There are so many different health professions. Before, we were very limited to psychologists and psychotherapists, which obviously they all have their own space and need in time. But nowadays, I mean, you can find help anywhere. So just remember, you don't need to be silent, because you don't need to suffer in silence. Yeah, be vocal, be vulnerable. So if you see yourself that you are in any of these toxic patterns, which is the time, feeling scared, thinking it's going to magically disappear, and think that you need to stay silent, just comment them below. Don't be shy, be honest, because honesty is going to get you to the new you. As I mentioned, I was the whole lot. I convinced myself I didn't have time. I convinced myself that I was scared to change who I was, because I was going to become this scared introvert or whatever it was. Not the case. They never magically left. And the more I stayed quiet, the more insane I drove myself. Literally insane. The amount of anxiety that I suffered at that time when I was trying to break my patterns and my emotions, because I kept everything inside and I didn't share anything, is I nearly lost my mind. I did that to myself. Alrighty, so to revert back to my mate in Alpha Course, he said, I don't want to read the Bible because I don't want to change my ways. And I told him this and he loved it. I just wrote it down. He said, I told him, mate, it's more powerful to be a man that can change lives than a man that changes nothing. Because he's 21 and he wants to bring his friends, his mates, to the other side. You know, I mean, he has so many people that are like drinking and driving, and people can lose their life or lose somebody else's life. And the reason why he doesn't want to face this is because he wasn't ready to change his values. But when I told him that it's more powerful to be a man that can change the lives of others than a man that changes nothing, the penny drops for him. And this reverts back to us. If we're going to stay in the exact same pattern, the exact same trigger, we're just going to keep on pushing them away, pushing our friends away, pushing our kids away, pushing the job away, pushing that skill away, pushing that travel away. We're just going to keep on repelling everything because we tell ourselves we don't have time, it's going to go away, it's going to magically disappear, I'm scared I'm going to lose who I am, and I'm going to stay silent. Alrighty, as I also mentioned in the beginning of this video, the reason why I have been quiet for the past 2 weeks is because I have created this awesome workshop, Trigger Reset. Comment below, Trigger Resets, and I'll send you the deeds. Simple thing. We're just gonna work on the triggers that we are dealing with. Super simple, fast, effective. We're just gonna do homework on the call, ready to take action. We're gonna understand our trigger. We're gonna change the way we respond instantly. This is neuroscience and psychology all mixed in one. So we're gonna change how we respond there and then in the workshop. You're gonna notice how you're gonna change the way you respond to triggers and emotions. And then after that, we're gonna rise into a new foundation. We're gonna implement new motion in our body that is gonna help us rise into the new us. So if you want the deeds about the workshop, just comment Trigger Reset and I'll get in touch with you. Alrighty guys, have a super blessed day.